The illusion of success. Trump, the self-proclaimed business tycoon. Donald Trump has long cultivated an image of himself as a self-made billionaire, a business titan who amassed his fortune through sheer grit and business acumen. His name has adorned skyscrapers, casinos and golf courses, projecting an aura of wealth and success. Trump himself has never shied away from boasting about his business prowess, often claiming to be a master negotiator and deal maker. This carefully crafted image was central to his political rise, appealing to voters who saw in him a successful outsider who could bring his business savvy to the White House. However, a closer look at Trump's business history reveals a more complicated and troubling reality. Far from being a self-made man, Trump's business empire has been built on a foundation of inherited wealth, risky ventures, and a string of bankruptcies. His claims of unparalleled business success have been repeatedly challenged, with many experts pointing to a pattern of reckless investments and questionable business practices. Moreover, Trump's business dealings have often been shrouded in secrecy, making it difficult to disentangle the truth from the carefully constructed myth. This lack of transparency has fueled suspicions about the true sources of Trump's wealth and the extent to which his business interests may have influenced his political decisions. The question of whether Trump's success is a testament to his business acumen or a product of other, more dubious factors lies at the heart of this essay. As we delve into the intricacies of Trump's financial dealings, particularly his long-standing ties to Russia, we will examine the extent to which his relationship with Moscow has shaped his business empire and his political career. The image of Trump as a successful businessman is deeply ingrained in the public consciousness. However, this image is often at odds with the reality of his business record. The following sections will explore the evolution of Trump's relationship with Russia, shedding light on the complex web of financial ties and political entanglements that have come to define his career.
Early encounters. Trump's first forays into the Soviet sphere. Trump's fascination with Russia dates back to the 1980s, a time when the Soviet Union still loomed large as a geopolitical rival to the United States. In 1987, Trump made his first trip to Moscow, ostensibly to explore the possibility of building a hotel there. This trip, which came at a time when most American businessmen were wary of venturing into the Soviet Union, marked the beginning of Trump's long and complicated relationship with Russia. During this initial visit, Trump met with Soviet officials and toured potential development sites in Moscow. While no concrete deals materialized from this trip, it planted the seeds for future business ventures in Russia. Trump's interest in the Soviet Union coincided with his growing ambition to establish himself as a global real estate developer. He saw in the Soviet Union a vast, untapped market with the potential for lucrative deals. However, Trump's early forays into the Soviet Union were not without their challenges. The Soviet bureaucracy, with its complex regulations and opaque decision-making processes, proved to be a formidable obstacle. Moreover, the political climate between the United States and the Soviet Union was tense, marked by mutual suspicion and distrust. Despite these hurdles, Trump remained undeterred, sensing an opportunity to make his mark in a part of the world that had long been off-limits to Western businessmen. Trump's early encounters with the Soviet Union laid the groundwork for his future business dealings in Russia. These early experiences also provided him with a glimpse into the inner workings of a system where power and influence often trumped the rule of law, a system that would later become all too familiar to him.
A lifeline from the East. Russian money injects life into Trump's struggling empire. By the 1990s, Trump's business empire was in dire straits. A series of failed ventures, coupled with reckless spending and questionable business practices, had left him deeply in debt. Facing financial ruin, Trump turned to unconventional sources of funding to keep his businesses afloat. Among these sources was a steady stream of money from Russian investors. At a time when most American banks were hesitant to lend to Trump, Russian individuals and entities stepped in to fill the void. These investments, often made in cash and with few strings attached, provided Trump with a much-needed lifeline. The influx of Russian money into Trump's businesses raised eyebrows at the time, but the full extent of these dealings would not become clear until much later. The nature of these Russian investments varied, ranging from purchases of luxury condominiums in Trump Tower to investments in Trump's casinos and golf courses. However, what connected these seemingly disparate investments was the lack of transparency surrounding them. Trump's companies often refused to disclose the identities of their investors, citing confidentiality agreements. This secrecy made it difficult to determine the true source of the funds and whether any quid pro quo arrangements were involved. The infusion of Russian money into Trump's businesses during this period was crucial to his survival. It allowed him to stave off bankruptcy, restructure his debts, and maintain the facade of a successful businessman. However, these financial entanglements would come back to haunt him years later, casting a long shadow over his presidency.
The flow of Russian wealth into Trump's orbit. Throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, Trump's financial ties to Russia continued to deepen. Russian oligarchs and business magnates, seeking to launder money or invest in Western assets, found a willing partner in Trump. These individuals funneled vast sums of money into Trump's properties, often through shell companies and complex financial arrangements designed to obscure the origins of the funds. The scale of these investments was staggering, with some estimates suggesting that hundreds of millions of dollars flowed from Russia into Trump's businesses during this period. This influx of Russian wealth not only helped Trump weather financial storms, but also cemented his status as a major player in the global real estate market. However, the opaque nature of these transactions raised serious questions about the extent of Russian influence over Trump and his businesses. Critics argued that Trump's reliance on Russian money made him vulnerable to manipulation and coercion, potentially compromising his ability to act independently as a business leader, and later as President of the United States. The flow of Russian wealth into Trump's orbit was part of a broader pattern of financial entanglements that would come under intense scrutiny during his presidency. As investigators sought to untangle the web of connections between Trump and Russia, they uncovered a complex and often murky network of financial relationships that had far-reaching implications for American politics and national security. The story of Trump's ties to Russia is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked financial influence and the potential for foreign powers to exert control over American leaders through economic means.
So, when we look at the 2016 election, it's clear that there was a convergence of interests. Russian disinformation campaigns were in full swing, and they found fertile ground in the political climate of the United States.
Well, it's important to understand that Trump's financial ties to Russia were not just beneficial to him personally, but they also served Russian ambitions. By leveraging these connections, Russia sought to expand its influence on the global stage.
The influence of foreign operations, it doesn't just vanish overnight. As we look towards the 2024 election, we must remain vigilant. The tactics used in the past could very well resurface, and the stakes are incredibly high.
The success of Donald Trump, well, it didn't happen in a vacuum. There are layers upon layers of connections, financial ties, and strategic moves that, when unmasked, reveal a complex web of influence. Understanding this web is crucial for grasping the full picture of his rise to power.
Protecting our democracy, it's an ongoing battle. We need robust measures to counteract foreign influence. This means, not just addressing the symptoms, but tackling the root causes. Only then can we truly safeguard our democratic processes.
In the end, it comes down to a stark choice, truth or illusion. The narratives we choose to believe will shape the future of our democracy. It's up to each of us to seek out the truth and, hold those in power accountable.